let's start with the big news of the day.
Yeah.
Jett Luchanko is a Brantford Bulldog, and with some speculation of him going to Windsor being false, and him moving with Charlie Paquette being false. It's just Jett Luchanko on the move to Brantford. Layne Gallacher, along with Kitchener's second in 2027, Sudbury's second in 2028, Brantford's third in 2029, and Brampton's fifth in 2029. I have a really good feeling that those will not be Guelph Storm pick by the time the 2027, 2028, and 2029 drafts roll around. But Colin, Jett Luchanko, just another first rounder in the NHL that's going to join the Brantford Bulldogs, and a guy that just slides right into the top six. Unfortunately, someone will have to get pushed down. It's just the way it happens. But how do you see this trade unfolding right now for the Bulldogs?
It's a good deal for both sides. Luchanko, obviously 13th overall pick by Philly in 2024, first rounder. I don't know, the goal is 2 goals on the year. Brantford needs a goal scorer, so you get one of the assist leaders in the Ontario Hockey League. It's a great pickup for both sides. Layne Gallacher is going to be a stud for Guelph. I think Gallacher has been the most improved player on the Bulldogs this year. I've said that numerous times on the record about Gallacher's play this year. He's their top phase player. He's on the fourth line. That line drove pace for the Bulldogs. Ended on the second line with Dennis and Malhotra before he got injured. With Gallacher going to Guelph, it's a great opportunity. He's going to be their second line center, I would assume, later on when he gets back and gets healthy for the rest of the season, or depending what the circumstances are, what they do at the deadline still for Guelph. But great ad for both sides. Obviously, Luchanko, another first-round pick goes to Brantford. You got 5 of them. You look at the power play now. We talked about this on the Dogcast this week. I think Luchanko kind of slots into that spot that Malhotra's on. Malhotra makes your second unit a little bit stronger. You probably go Malhotra, McHugh, Testa, Dennis, Dravetsky runs it on the point. Top unit, you put Luchanko in that spot down at the half wall at the line. You go Luchanko, Van Acker, O'Brien, Banach, Juracek. I think it's a great. The 41.1% power play got better. I think it's a good ad for both sides. I think Brantford needed a forward. I don't think I don't think by any means they're done. I don't think Guelph's done. So I think it's exciting times for both teams in different directions. Obviously, with the Mem Cup, with the Guelph Storm, you're going to have to change that direction. It also is interesting to see what the Kitchener Rangers do off that. Right? I know it's a side question, and we'll probably get to that in the Mem Cup talk, but it'd be interesting to see what the Rangers do now. What do they pivot? It hasn't been the best of starts in the standings for Kitchener. Obviously, they're in the playoffs, but you kind of got to get hot if you're the Rangers. As we have a month going to the deadline, you're in the 6th spot. Like, you got to get hot, and you got to pick a time now, right? You're preparing for next year, but is this year the year now with some of the guys that they have aging out and moving on? But all in all, great deal for both sides. Brantford gets better for sure. It's been a great start. This week for the Bulldogs was definitely better than it was the week before. The week before, as everyone knew, I was critical on here about them. I don't think they were playing their best hockey. And then this past week comes, you outscore the opposing team too. The shutout in Niagara. Like, I think that those are the games that you wanted to see out of the Bulldogs. You had Luchanko, it's a great ad. World Junior time, they're going to struggle, but I don't think it's as bad as it thinks. I don't think everyone is going to be gone. We discussed this before. I don't think every single Canadian that's on their team that's going to get the invite is going to make Canada. Like, look at the roles you got to play, right? Like, we'll see.
Yeah, well, and you think about it, you would think first-round picks in the NHL are automatic locks for Team Canada. Jett Luchanko, I think, is, because he's a returning guy. I think that's kind of a that's not even a conversation. Danford, I think, would be a lock for Team Canada. Then you go into they have a good chance to make the club, but we don't know if they'll be on it. The Jake O'Brien's, who's an 18-year-old, Merrick Van Acker, 19-year-old, so it's his last year of eligibility, which this is the second year in a row that you're probably going to have a Bulldog, or probably have the leading scorer in the OHL heading into World Junior invite time being on the Bulldogs, right? Last year we're talking about Nick Lardis. He doesn't go for Team Canada. This year it's Merrick Van Acker. Well, we'll see if he makes it. So, and then you think about the back end again. I mentioned Danford, but Owen Protz, does he get an invite? Does he make the team? Who knows? It's not a guaranteed lock that he is. Great player, great defender. Again, my pick for Defenseman of the Year in the Ontario Hockey League. Now that Dickinson's no longer in the conversation, but does he make Team Canada? Is he a fit for Dale Hunter and Mark
brothers
Hunter
have
and what
been
they want to
around.
do? So
Yep.
yeah, and then you think of the Czechs. I think all three are gone. Banach and Juracek have to be locks for Team Czechia. Dravetsky, 17-year-old. I wouldn't consider him a lock, but I also wouldn't be surprised if he's the 7th or 8th defenseman for Team Czechia. Like he gets in against a Kazakhstan or a Germany or Latvia, like one of those lower tier teams that might be in the conversation for the relegation round. Again, that's no knock at any country, but we know how well they do at the World Juniors in the top division, and it's not very well. So you think about that and the impact that this has on the Bulldogs lineup. Yes, it's unfortunate, but you're going to see David Buckman come back up, who's the first rounder for the Bulldogs this past OHL priority selection. I would imagine Gavin Christie comes up and plays his 9 games. For people saying that Karmanov's going to come up, it's not going to happen. The Bulldogs have their 3 import cards taken, whether they're playing for the Bulldogs or not. They've signed Banach, Juracek, and Dravetsky to the import cards, which means Karmanov will not play for the Brantford Bulldogs. So that's out of the question. You think Joey Banis, who we saw make his Bulldogs debut on Friday against Sarnia. Ryan Chamberlain, who played 20 games with Sarnia before getting dealt to the Brantford Bulldogs, made his Bulldogs debut on Thursday in Niagara. You have to imagine those 2 guys immediately move in. They've got 8 games left as they're not on A cards in the Ontario Hockey League and with the Brantford Bulldogs. So those are guys that you're going to see step into the lineup and fill in while these guys are away. And we've been saying it, Colin. Yes, we have a Bulldogs show on the Bulldogs Audio Network. Yes, we cover them on a regular basis. But we're not stupid. Like we're realists. The Bulldogs are going to lose this year in regulation. It's going to happen. It's probably going to happen between December 10th/11th to mid-January, like just before the trade deadline. So I think this is, and I heard Spencer Hyman say it while he was talking to Jeff Merrick, that, let's get him in. Let's get him into Brantford. Let's get him used to being a home player at the Civic Center. Not that Guelph came very often, but, let's get him into the system. Let's get him into the team, get him, acquainted with a lot of the guys. And, let's get this started before he does leave for a month and a half. And then he comes back and he's ready to go. So,
that's big for Guelph too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Big for Guelph too. For Guelph, I mean, you get Gallacher, lower body injury week to week. Those are times where you rehab, you come back. It's exciting to see for Gallacher too, to get in the system as well. Go through the training staff, go through the doctors, all the requirements in Guelph with the physicals too, right? And for Guelph, you're prepping for next season now. And I think Gallacher, you just got your best face-off man for next year. And I know the deal is what it is. And it's funny, you see a lot of the comments and the consensus online is that's all they got for Luchanko. I expected more.
Yeah.
But the deal, like this deal, not to get too Bulldog centric on you, but it feels last year this deal was done, but ownership took it over. It feels like last year at the trade deadline, I know general manager at the time, Matt Turk, wanted to get this deal done. There was a deal done. It was vetoed. Ownership, there's an article in Guelph about that. Ownership steps in. There was no deal. This year, it sounded like the Bulldogs, it started talks in the summer when the trade window opened. But when that happened, you didn't know what the status was going to be. Luchanko, when he was going to be back, he comes back. Then obviously this morning, get the phone call from Spencer early about that, and that's just the way she goes. I mean, great deal for both sides. Bulldog side to finally get the deal done. For Guelph, honestly, to finally get the deal done. Guelph, I mean, once the Mem Cup came out, you knew this deal was going to be close, and you knew that they had to get the deal done. And move for next year, and especially last week when you saw that feature in Guelph at the Mem Cup, and like you look, where's Luchanko? Like,
and that's the thing. Like these phone calls were ongoing, right? It's not like there was complete silence on Jett Luchanko. People were calling. Spencer Hyman on the record talking with Jeff Merrick said, once Luchanko came back, we were doing our due diligence. We were checking in. We were making calls. So it's not like this was a quiet situation. And then over the weekend, it's like, hey, we'll offer you this, and you can have Jett Luchanko. It's like, well, no, it was going on, like you said, Colin, for 10 months. Since last year's deadline when Matt Turk was still around and still the general manager of the Bulldogs. This wasn't out of the blue. So there were phone calls exchanged by Spencer Hyman and George Burnett and to finally get this deal done. And again, to your point about this being really, that's it for Jett Luchanko. Let's not forget that Patrick Babin was also sent to the Guelph Storm earlier on this year. He's also a guy that's going to be a really big part of the Guelph Storm team next year. He'll be an 18-year-old defender who excelled at the junior B level last year. Really didn't get an opportunity for regular minutes this year because, well, look at the Bulldogs blue line. Whereas in Guelph, he's going to get every opportunity to learn this year, and then next year they're probably going to expect big things out of Babin as an 18-year-old defender. So that is also part of this. It was essentially a what's the right word? A pre-trade before the trade, much like Colin, you compare it to Bedkowski and the Barlow trades last year.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think this deal like I say, both sides is a good deal, and it's on to the next. It's nice that both teams can move forward, especially for Guelph. You're hosting the M Cup. It's a tough move to make, but it's nice that when teams can make a move like that and help them out in future aspects